I'm back with another darts game. El Salvador versus Trinidad and Tobago. The winner of this will either play against Barbados or Benin. And then maybe the winner of this might play against US. Whoever wins this has a chance of playing USA in the final if they do make it to the final, which is very likely because coincidences always happen. Oh wait, starting off this game, El Salvador, come on, please be a good score. The highest start has been to a game is 176. Can you beat it? No, 74. Good average to start a game. Trinidad and Tobago 26. El Salvador 39. Trinidad and Tobago 119. 91. I reckon El Salvador's going to win 4-0. Trinidad and Tobago 139. El Salvador 158. Trinidad 80. El Salvador 139. Trinidad and Tobago 137. They didn't get it. El Salvador 40. 20. Trinidad and Tobago 16. El Salvador 20. Oh my god! Trinidad and Tobago needs 16. This is ridiculous. El Salvador 10. Thank you. Trinidad and Tobago start off the first leg. They start and they get 36. Very sad. El Salvador 58. Very sad. Trinidad and Tobago 86. You know what's also very sad? Look at their averages. El Salvador 119. Trinidad and Tobago 71. El Salvador 120. Trinidad and Tobago gets 75. El Salvador 112. Trinidad and Tobago 131. El Salvador 92. They get 92. And once again, where one of the countries whitewash the other country, which is where the other country doesn't win a single leg. Imagine that happens in the final. Alright, my prediction, USA are going to magically make it to the final. They're going to beat Burkina Faso 7-0. It's a bit weird that I said Burkina Faso are going to win. They are going to win though. Oh well, the final leg of this set, El Salvador is 26. Trinidad and Tobago gets 162. This is... See, remember what I said a few videos ago? I said it was going to be really hard to pronounce these names. Do you understand what I mean? El Salvador gets 146. Trinidad and Tobago 129. El Salvador 177. Good score. Trinidad and Tobago 44. El Salvador 152. Boom. We might have a whitewash. El Salvador, if you want to whitewash Trinidad and Tobago, you need to win 9 more legs in a row. Trinidad and Tobago 102. El Salvador 145. Trinidad and Tobago 86. El Salvador 116. 149. El Salvador 112. Trinidad and Tobago 164. They get it. I guess there's no whitewash. El Salvador 120. 60. 12. 72. El Salvador 173. Trinidad and Tobago 160. El Salvador 76. Trinidad and Tobago 120. El Salvador needs 120. They don't get 120, they get 18. Now Trinidad and Tobago need 89. They get 89. I might be wrong about El Salvador winning 4-0. Trinidad and Tobago 152. El Salvador 78. Trinidad and Tobago 78. No. Better, 24. Much worse. 31. Trinidad and Tobago 138. Well done. El Salvador 57. Trinidad and Tobago 32. El Salvador 37. Trinidad and Tobago 155. They don't get 155, they get 117. El Salvador are going to win this set. They want to check out though. They're going to miss this one, and El Salvador are going to win a leg. I wonder how I guessed that. El Salvador. I almost closed it. 11. Trinidad and Tobago 74. El Salvador 54. This is going to be boring, like, isn't it? Thank you. 154. El Salvador 162. Trinidad and Tobago 8. El Salvador 190. I said at the start of the tournament, whenever there's a 180. Like in this match, whenever there's a 180, I'll do the 180 call. Like that. And throughout all these games, I've stuck to that promise. And now we're here. Too many matches. Hello, Trinidad and Tobago, 53. El Salvador needs 26. Oh my god, another 180 was generated. 2 times in a row for El Salvador. But it doesn't count because they want to check out. Trinidad and Tobago, 167. This is coming down to a deciding leg. El Salvador still have a chance of winning 4-0. Not anymore. Trinidad and Tobago, 93. See what I mean? El Salvador, 18. Trinidad and Tobago. El Salvador, 82. Trinidad and Tobago, 116. Boom. Alright, there's no more 4-0 for El Salvador. Forgot to check the averages. El Salvador, 90.13, and Trinidad and Tobago, 92.69. El Salvador started this leg with 129. Very good. Trinidad and Tobago, 127. El Salvador, 25. Trinidad and Tobago, 144. El Salvador, 96. Trinidad and Tobago, 60. El Salvador. Yeah, that was a 170. 170 checkout. Boom, boom, boosh. Boosh. They deserve to be winning after that. Boosh, boosh, boosh. Trinidad and Tobago, 77. Also, if you want to know a cool fact I know about darts, the highest checkout you could get in history is actually 180. That's when they used the quadruple 20, quadruple 20, double 20. Oh, anyway, El Salvador, 76, one less than Trinidad and Tobago. 102 for... Oh, oops, I messed up there. Trinidad and Tobago, 178, so close. El Salvador, 52. Trinidad and Tobago, 144. Boom! Now they're winning. They're going to win 4-1, I changed my mind. El Salvador, 94. Trinidad and Tobago, 114. El Salvador, 172. Trinidad and Tobago, 25. El Salvador, 69. Trinidad and Tobago, 190. El Salvador, 54. Trinidad and Tobago, 141. El Salvador, Trinidad and Tobago, 157. I've just seen their average. How do you go from a 61 average to an average over El Salvador? 61. Trinidad and Tobago, 162. El Salvador, 120. Trinidad and Tobago, 93. 133 for El Salvador. Trinidad and Tobago, they need 89. They don't get it. El Salvador get a 59. 32. They get it. They're winning 2-1 now. Wow. Let's check the averages. El Salvador is 88.03 and Trinidad and Tobago 100.85. Their average I don't know how I've done this. Has rised by 39. El Salvador, 107. Trinidad and Tobago, 132. El Salvador, 19. Trinidad and Tobago, 60. El Salvador, 2. Trinidad and Tobago, 51. El Salvador, 48. Trinidad and Tobago, 78. El Salvador, 36. 153. Nice. El Salvador, 190. There's already been 3 180s and a 170 checkout. Come on, 27. Alright, this has been the perfect match so far. We've got 3 180s, which impresses me. You've got 170 as well. There's one more thing to make the perfect game. A 9 data. Trinidad and Tobago, 76. We need this 9 data. El Salvador, 16. Trinidad and Tobago, 158. El Salvador, 43. Trinidad and Tobago, 117. El Salvador, 168. Trinidad and Tobago, 150. They are demolishing El Salvador now. El Salvador, 33. Trinidad and Tobago, 7. El Salvador, 114. Trinidad and Tobago, 118. El Salvador, 159. Trinidad and Tobago, 141. El Salvador, 59. Trinidad and Tobago gets 112. El Salvador, 136. First checkout in a long time. Trinidad and Tobago, 148. El Salvador, 164. Trinidad and Tobago, 353, 85. El Salvador, 85. Trinidad and Tobago, 96. El Salvador, 176. Trinidad and Tobago, 94. El Salvador, 76. They get it. El Salvador start off this leg with the 128. Trinidad and Tobago, 115. El Salvador, 141. Trinidad and Tobago, 92. El Salvador, 76. Trinidad and Tobago, 170. El Salvador, 156. There have been some incredible checkouts this match. Alright, that's it. El Salvador's winning 4-3. That's my final answer. I'm not switching anymore. El Salvador, 4-3. Trinidad and Tobago, 37. El Salvador, 45. Trinidad and Tobago, 83. El Salvador, 2. Trinidad and Tobago, 71. El Salvador, 102. Trinidad and Tobago, 79. El Salvador, 85. Trinidad and Tobago, 125. El Salvador, 12. Trinidad and Tobago, 106. I didn't get it. El Salvador, 152. Trinidad and Tobago, 32. Gosh, they got 10. El Salvador, 103. They didn't get it. Trinidad and Tobago, 16. They got it. I think. Yes. They're winning the match once again. El Salvador, 80. Trinidad and Tobago, 75. El Salvador, 67. Trinidad and Tobago, 62. El Salvador, 76. Trinidad and Tobago, 68. El Salvador, 64. Trinidad and Tobago, 19. El Salvador, 141, thank you. Trinidad and Tobago, 14. El Salvador, 73. 57. Trinidad and Tobago, 25. El Salvador needs 16. 8. 98. El Salvador needs 8. They get 4. 140. El Salvador needs 4. I get 4. Another game's tied. Again. Trinidad and Tobago, 115. El Salvador 179, so close to the fourth 180 of the game. Trinidad and Tobago 108. El Salvador 16. Trinidad and Tobago 46. El Salvador 51. Trinidad and Tobago 135. El Salvador gets 84. Trinidad and Tobago needs 97. They get 97. They're winning the game again. El Salvador 28. Trinidad and Tobago 62. El Salvador 149. Trinidad and Tobago 173. El Salvador 44. Trinidad and Tobago 13. El Salvador 56. Trinidad and Tobago gets 129. El Salvador 72. Trinidad and Tobago need 124. Got it. I want El Salvador to win, so I don't have to repeatedly say Trinidad and Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago, Trinidad and there. Well, I can say this one much easier. El Salvador, El Salvador, El Salvador. Bleh. Yeah, kind of the same. Oh well. 42 for Trinidad and Tobago. Horrible start to a set. El Salvador 92. See, easy. Apart from Trinidad and Tobago 76. El Salvador 130. Trinidad and Tobago 27. El Salvador 114. Trinidad and Tobago 59. El Salvador 117. Trinidad and Tobago 95. El Salvador needs 48 to get 48. El Salvador start off this leg with 124. Good start. Trinidad and Tobago 46. El Salvador 172. Just noticed we've not got a 9 darts yet. We've still not found a perfect game in this tournament, which includes at least 3 180s and 170 check out and the 9 darter. Trinidad and Tobago 171. El Salvador 10. Trinidad and Tobago 153. El Salvador 112. Trinidad and Tobago needs 131. They get 131. You could be 2 legs away from finishing the game if there's not been a 9 dart yet. Trinidad and Tobago 7. El Salvador, they're on for a 9 darts of 174. Come on. 73. Come on, high number. Oh come on, you donkey. 100. El Salvador 167. 169 here. El Salvador 154. They get 154. El Salvador 118. 173. They're on for a 9 darter. El Salvador 148. Trinidad and Tobago, not a 9 darter anymore. 103. El Salvador 134. Trinidad and Tobago 96. El Salvador 101. I might be correct about El Salvador winning 4-3. Trinidad and Tobago 5. El Salvador 81. El Salvador 110. El Salvador, I'm stupid. El Salvador 55. TNT 86. El Salvador 72. TAT 177. I just wish that was a 9 darter. There won't be though. 180. That 180 can take up the space of a 9 darts because you've got 4 180s now. Trinidad and Tobago 105. El Salvador needs 113. They get 113. El Salvador 69. Trinidad and Tobago 105. El Salvador 41. Trinidad and Tobago 88. El Salvador 164. Trinidad and Tobago 26. El Salvador 25. Trinidad and Tobago 172. El Salvador 118. 110. They didn't. El Salvador to get 1 leg away from winning the match. 84. 60. Trinidad and Tobago 32. They get 32. The game's tied. It's going to come down to a deciding leg, isn't it? Oh well. We still have 3 legs left, I reckon. So we have 3 more chances. No, we have 6 more chances than I data, don't we? 74. 1 chance gone. Another chance gone. 128. El Salvador 53. Trinidad and Tobago 50. 23. 16. 160. Trinidad and Tobago gets 167. El Salvador needs 121. We have 4 chances left this game at a 9 data. 35. 3 chances left. 2 chances left. El Salvador 89. There might be no chances left because El Salvador might win right now. 103. El Salvador 90. Trinidad and Tobago 87. El Salvador 58 was that? Yeah. Trinidad and Tobago 54. El Salvador 159. Trinidad and Tobago 31. El Salvador 70. The perfect match was not made. Well done, El Salvador. Oh, I just hit my finger. Oh well. El Salvador, thank you for getting my prediction correct. 4-3. El Salvador, you are either playing against Barbados or Benin in the quarterfinals. El Salvador. Could be playing against USA in the final. I said you'd win this. You better win this. Alright. USA beat Central Africa. Right, no, let's see. El Salvador. Who did El Salvador beat? First, they beat Italy. El Salvador beat Italy. And then they beat Trinidad and Tobago. Goodbye.